Hello, my name is Liza Elise, or Caffeine and Misery, and today I'm going to be talking about a brand new deck that I'm really excited to be goofing off with this format. Destined One of Infinity, Levidras. So Levidras is going to be a big deck in Set 5 format, because the Destined King of Infinity is incredibly good. It fixes a lot of the issues this version has, but that's not out yet, so we're just going to be talking about this one. So first off, for the ride line, I'm going to be doing the intended ride line and Stag Nipper into Scorepiercer into Mantis Scythe. This is because going from Scorepiercer into Mantis Scythe is free as long as you have the starter, and then Mantis Scythe just checks the top 5 for a grade 3 or lower and just puts it into hand for free. And then obviously our Vanguard is Levidras, which once per turn for Counterblast, you put 1 Infinity Eyes marker on each player's field, and then whenever someone attacks or boosts on that marker, you can go ahead and you can add or take away 10k power, and technically you can do that for both players' fields, so that's a little bit of math worth actually taking into account sometimes. Why? Don't ask me, but it could come up for weird reasons. If you take away power though from your opponent's side of the field, you remove the marker and draw a card, when you do that. So you draw as you remove it, so you can guard with whatever you draw with. And then his Divine Skill for a Soul Blast when your opponent's on grade 3, you put 1 more marker on each side of the field, and Levidras gains a crit. For my grade 3 lineup, I'm on 3 of the Persona Ride. That way you can be doing the Persona Ride stuff. It's just standard. You know how that goes. And I'm on 3 copies of Blue Artillery Dragon Inlet Pulse Dragon. This is one of my favorite cards in Standard, if not the game. And because at the end of the turn, as long as you attack 4 more times, it just goes to Soul and you draw a card. The first skill is Flagberg locked, unfortunately, but you're not going to need that skill to actually hit 4 attacks, and here is one of the main reasons why. Onfall, and Autogaster. I cannot read names, I'm sorry. But it's a grade 2 that on place, if you have an Infinity Eyes marker in the same column, you're going to be able to Energy Blast 3 and look at the top 2, add 1 to hand, leave it at the top, and give itself 5k. So it's nice filtering, it's a nice little peek, lets you plan ahead a little bit. And along with that, its second skill, as long as you have 3 markers, and you're on a Levidras, he can attack from the back row as long as he's the only one of his name in the back row. And he'll gain 5k. Along with that, I'm on 3 copies of Skulkclaw's Huntsman, Huli, who on place, as long as there's an Infinity Eyes marker in the same column that she's placed in, you can counterblast 1 and call a grade 3 or lower from drop. And then if there are 3 or more Infinity Eyes markers on the board, either side, and she'll gain 10k. So she's good for recovery, she's good for rebuilding a board, and using whatever you discard to set one up. In the grade 1s, I am on 3 copies of Full Knowledge Fox Soul. This is going to be the Levidras 15k booster. So it's first continuous, it just has 5k, additional 5k if you're on a Levidras. And that second skill, when it boosts Levy specifically, it gains another 2k. And then for 1 counterblast, you can select another unit in your back row, and it can attack from the back, and it gains 10k. So you're typically going to be attacking 5 times after your opponent's on grade 3, 4 and that's less because of any kind of restriction on that, and more just because Levy can only place 2 at a time. So you're not going to be able to have this one's skill live until your opponent's on grade 3. Yeah, I'm running 3. I'm probably going to be dropping it down to 2 after her Fated Destined King comes out. Along with that, I'm on 3 copies of Knight of Silent Illusion Clarence, and who at the end of the battle attacks as long as at the end of the battle attacks or boosts as long as there is an Infinity Eyes marker in the same column. He can go to Soul, and you can countercharge 1 as long as you haven't countercharged that turn. So he's going to be really helpful with maintaining your counterblast. That is going to be the most important resource, is your CV, because you will run through it. And then I'm just on 4 regular sentinels. Nothing. It's just standard. Now, I am on a decent number of orders. It's Stoicheia. I like playing orders a lot in Stoicheia decks because we have Mythiarch Habitat, which lets you check the top 7 cards of your deck and just call something to the grade of your Vanguard. Or if it would be called by the effect of a Mythiarch, you can add this to hand. So you can use it. It's always going to be good deck thinning. You're either going to hit a combo piece you need or the Habitat for next turn. And then I'm also on Gather Upon Me, Wandering Souls, 2 copies for that extra drive check. I'm on 3 copies of Searching for Infinity Knowledge, which for 2 energy calls the unit from drop to any circle, and that unit will gain 5k for every one of your Infinity Eyes markers in that same circle, or in that same column. So it'll be a max of a 20k boost. And then I'm also on a couple of Blitz orders. I'm on 2 copies of Fine Drink of Abolishment for Sin, because it's more hand advantage, it's more draw. I'm playing a lot of orders. So it's likely to be a minimum of a 5 to 10k every time. And then lastly, for Blitz orders, I'm on the singular Regalis piece. Is Protection Twin Cast, because again, it's another way to guard early, and the ability to remove from the game from drop for additional guard is incredibly helpful. For my trigger lineup, I'm on 7 critical triggers. The soul crits aren't actually necessary. You can just run vanillas pretty easily. This deck really doesn't use soul aside from the divine skill. It actually makes it really hard to recycle. Well, some units, that's part of why I'm on the Fine Drink, but I'm looking at a couple other options. I'm not sure how I feel about them yet. 4 front triggers, you do need the effect fronts, you do need that extra guard, and the pressure they apply is amazing because you're already swinging plus 10 to most units, giving your front row an extra 10, 20, 30. Incredibly helpful. I'm on 4 normal heals because the effect heals are bad and are not needed. And lastly, for my OT, I am on the Stoicheia Nation OT, a Source Dragon deity of Blessings, Bless Favor. And the reason is the particular OT you run in most Stoicheia decks doesn't really matter, in my opinion. Normally, there's a couple of exceptions where you very specifically need specific OTs, or where specific OTs become a lot more beneficial. Well, because of what your deck does. I personally don't think Levidras is one of those decks that gets any kind of advantage from any OT. So you can pretty much run whichever one of your preference is for this. But that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoy this kind of low budget content that I do. No editing, just me talking about a deck I like, quickly going over the cards, explaining it. And if you do, like and subscribe, because I don't post a lot, so you probably won't see when I post. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.